Luke Carter stood at the edge of the observation deck, staring at the massive chamber that held the Galactic Council. The walls glimmered with a soft silver light, and hundreds of alien representatives moved about with slow, deliberate motions. He felt small, as if the entire universe was watching and judging him. Beside him, Maya Rivers adjusted her communicator and whispered, "Stay calm. This is our chance to show them what humans can do." Luke nodded, though a storm of anger burned quietly in him. He had trained for years for this moment, yet nothing could prepare him for the cold, sharp way the Council treated humans. Jason Hall, the youngest officer on their team, shifted nervously. He glanced at Claire Ward, the team's analyst, who was calmly scanning her datapad. "Do you think they will even listen to us?" Jason asked in a low voice. "They have to," Claire said. "Or at least they will pretend. That is all we can expect from them right now." The doors at the far end of the chamber opened, and the human delegation walked in. The floor seemed to shine beneath their boots, reflecting 1,000 lights. Representatives from dozens of alien worlds turned to look at them. Some eyes were curious, others full of disdain. Luke felt a sudden tension in the air. The Council was already judging, and the humans had barely stepped inside. The head of the Council, a tall figure with skin like polished bronze and eyes that seemed to pierce through every thought, spoke first. "Earth, you come before us with pride. Tell us why we should even consider your claims. Your species is young, untested, and primitive. Do you think you can contribute to the stability of the galaxy?" Luke felt his jaw tighten. He had expected insults, but hearing them aloud made his blood boil. Maya's hand brushed against his arm, a small gesture of support. Luke inhaled slowly. "We come with respect," he said firmly. "And with the proof that humans can be valuable to the galaxy." The Council laughed. A deep, hollow sound that echoed off the chamber walls. One of the alien representatives, a thin creature with multiple arms, leaned forward. "Respect?" it said. "Do you even understand the concept? Your species barely left its own planet before thinking it belongs among the stars. You are a child who wishes to sit at a table for kings." Jason flinched. He wanted to speak, to shout back, but Maya placed a hand on his shoulder. "Not now," she whispered. "We listen first." Luke's eyes narrowed. He had learned long ago that sometimes silence was louder than words. He let the Council speak, letting their arrogance fill the room. He noticed the alien representatives whispering among themselves, their words fast and sharp. Claire leaned closer to him, her voice barely audible. "They are planning something," she said. "Something against Earth. I intercepted their messages before we arrived." Luke's stomach tightened. He had suspected as much. The Council did not just want to mock humans. They wanted to isolate them, weaken them, and control them forever. But humans were not weak. Not anymore. The Council continued their public display of humiliation. They showed holograms of Earth's cities, calling them small and underdeveloped. They laughed at human technology, at human customs, and at the very idea of humans working together. Luke could see the anger growing in his team, but they kept their composure. Each insult was stored, remembered, catalogued. When the Council showed a staged incident where a minor security breach was blamed on humans, Jason's hands clenched into fists. "This is lies," he muttered. Claire leaned closer and whispered, "Exactly, and now we have proof. Remember this, every lie is a step toward our plan." Luke nodded subtly. He had already begun sending coded messages to Earth Command. Their secret plan, the one that had been prepared for decades, was about to begin. Phase 1. Phase 1 would be subtle, quiet, but deadly in its precision. After hours of mockery, the Council dismissed the human delegation. The aliens surrounding them snickered and whispered, clearly pleased with themselves. Luke felt a cold determination settle over him. The Council thought they had won, but they did not understand humans. They did not understand unity, strategy, or patience. Outside the chamber, in the corridor, Luke gathered his team. "We go back," he said. "But we do not go quietly." This was the spark. "The real fire starts tonight." Maya's eyes glowed with determination. "We have allies," she said. "Some of these alien worlds are unhappy with the Council too. They will join us once they see the truth." Claire tapped her datapad. "I have gathered every document, every secret, every plan the Council tried to hide. We can use this. We can expose them." Jason nodded, his youthful anger tempered by Claire's calm. "And our fleets? They are ready?" Luke smiled faintly. "More than ready. Cloaked. Hidden. Prepared for anything. We move at night. By the time the Council knows what is happening, it will already be too late." As they walked through the empty hallways of the Council station, Luke could not help but reflect on humanity's history. Humans had always been underestimated, mocked, pushed aside, and yet, time and time again, humans had risen stronger than before. Tonight would be another proof of that truth. On the way back to their ship, the team passed alien patrols. Each time, Luke gave a slight nod, and each time the patrol moved on, unaware of the force lying in wait. The human ship was hidden deep in the docking bay, its sleek black hull reflecting the dim lights of the station. Once aboard, the team gathered in the strategy room. Large screens displayed Council data, fleet positions, and communication lines. Luke stood at the center, looking at his team. "They think they control the galaxy," he said softly. "They think Earth is weak. They do not see what we can do together. They do not see that humans do not forget insults. And tonight, we begin to remind them." Maya tapped on the screen, showing a list of worlds and alliances tied to the Council. "These alliances are fragile," she said. "Many of these planets resent Council control. They will listen to us if we show them honesty and strength." Claire pointed at a small section of the screen. "And here is their weakest point, the relay networks that connect their fleets. If we disable these, even temporarily, we can cut off communication. The Council will be blind, and we can act without interference." Jason clenched his fists. "So this is the plan. We strike, we expose, and we win allies. And all in a single night?" Luke nodded. "Yes. One night. And when the dawn comes, the Council will no longer mock Earth. They will no longer underestimate humanity." Hours passed as they prepared. The ship hummed with quiet energy, engines ready to spring to life. Claire's fingers moved rapidly across her datapad, coding messages, preparing the flow of information that would reach not only Earth but dozens of alien worlds. Maya coordinated communication channels, ensuring that their messages could not be blocked. Jason and the security teams double-checked weapons, shields, and fleet readiness. Finally, Luke stood alone in the observation room, looking at the stars. Millions of points of light stretched across the galaxy, each one a potential ally, each one a possible battlefield. He thought about the Council and their arrogance. They had mocked humans, called them weak, small, insignificant. And yet, Luke knew the truth. Humans were adaptable, clever, and relentless. They did not give up, and they did not forgive easily. He turned to face his team. "Rest now," he said. "We leave in hours. When we strike, we do not hold back. Every alliance the Council controls will be ours to influence. Every secret they hide will be revealed, and when the night ends, humanity will stand taller than ever." Maya placed a hand on his shoulder. "It will work," she said softly. "It has to." Claire added quietly, "We have waited too long for this. For decades, humans have been underestimated. Tonight, we show the galaxy who we really are." Jason smiled faintly, though the tension in his body did not fade. "Then let's make it a night to remember." As the ship's engines quietly hummed, preparing for the journey, the team settled in for a few hours of rest. Sleep was scarce, and nerves were high. But each member knew the weight of the task ahead. The galaxy believed humanity was weak. They believed Earth could be ignored. Luke Carter closed his eyes for a moment, thinking of home. He thought of Earth's cities, the oceans, the mountains, and the people who had believed in humanity even when the universe had not. This mission was for them, for all humans who had ever been mocked or underestimated. The Council had laughed at them. The Council had assumed humans were nothing, and humans were about to prove them catastrophically wrong. Tonight, everything would change. The stars stretched endlessly outside the cockpit as Luke Carter guided the ship through the hidden lanes of the galaxy. Every light they passed was a world. Every shadow a potential ally or enemy. The night had begun, and humanity's plan was moving forward. The fleet, hidden in cloaked stations, scattered across the sector, now received the signal. The Unity Protocol had begun. Maya Rivers sat at the communication panel, sending carefully coded messages to worlds long oppressed by the Council. Her voice was calm, steady, and confident. "This is humanity," she said. "We offer truth, fairness, and protection. Join us, and we can ensure your freedom from the Council's control." Across the galaxy, screens flickered in hidden Council worlds. Aliens who had once feared retaliation from the Council now paused, listening. They had waited a long time for someone brave enough to challenge the Council openly. Humanity's offer spread like wildfire. Jason Hall worked with a small team of human engineers, moving from ship to ship in the fleet. Their mission was simple but dangerous. Disable the Council's relay networks without triggering alarms. These relays connected fleets, planets, and Council surveillance. One wrong move could expose the entire operation. Jason's hands moved quickly and precisely, disconnecting circuits, rerouting power, and installing temporary blackouts. Each station fell silent in sequence, cutting communication between Council-controlled worlds. Claire Ward monitored the Council's response. Her fingers danced across her datapad as she released documents exposing the Council's corruption. Ships intercepted transmissions, broadcasting evidence of lies, oppression, and manipulation. Entire worlds watched as decades of hidden Council crimes came to light. Luke steered their flagship through a corridor of asteroids, each one providing cover from patrols. "All units, report in," he said. The fleet responded in perfect order, confirming that every team was in place. "Remember," he added, "we do not fire unless necessary. Our goal is to show strength, not destruction. Allies follow strength, not chaos." Maya's messages began reaching unexpected places. Worlds long tired of Council oppression began shifting allegiance. Ships that had once patrolled under Council orders powered down, joining humanity's fleet instead. Luke watched the map as entire sectors blinked from red to green, marking their new allegiance. Jason paused at one relay station, his heart pounding. He could see the Council's capital fleet approaching in the distance. Alerted by minor disturbances, he whispered to his team, "We have minutes. Disconnect now, or everything fails." With swift motions, the engineers finished their work, cutting the Council's communication completely in that sector. A sudden silence fell over the capital fleet, leaving them blind, disorganized, and vulnerable. Claire sent out the next wave of data. Holographic images of Council corruption appeared in major cities, showing citizens the truth. Propaganda, hidden taxes, forced labor, and secret wars, all exposed. Crowds on distant planets reacted with shock and relief. For decades, they had suffered under Council rule, and now the humans had given them the truth. Luke turned to Maya. "How's the response?" he asked. "Better than expected," she said. "Several species are preparing to formally join us. Some fleets have even offered assistance before they see us in battle." The Council, now realizing the scale of humanity's strike, sent urgent commands to their fleets. Ships moved to intercept, but Luke's fleet was ready. Using the asteroid fields, they slipped past patrols, avoiding conflict where possible. When a Council vessel did appear, humans used precise, non-lethal tactics to disable it. Engines were jammed, shields temporarily disrupted, leaving the crew alive but stranded. Jason grinned as he watched a council destroyer drift helplessly. "They thought they could stop us with numbers," he said. "But we are faster, smarter, and they do not understand humans." Claire nodded, eyes glued to her screen. "It's working. Every council ally we touch turns against them. This is bigger than we imagined. Humanity is becoming the symbol of hope across the galaxy." Maya activated a secure line to several alien leaders. "We do not ask for war," she said. "We only ask for freedom. Join humanity in creating a new order, one based on truth and fairness. The Council will no longer control your lives." One by one, fleets and planets pledged allegiance. Council ships, isolated and blind, could only follow outdated orders. Entire sectors now operated independently, leaving council leaders shocked and helpless. Luke focused on the next objective: key trade routes, controlled by the council. Securing them would ensure supply lines for allies and prevent council reinforcements. He guided his flagship through narrow corridors of space, careful to avoid detection until the last moment. His team worked with precise coordination, boarding council stations, and disabling security systems. Each action was swift, efficient, and mostly nonviolent. Humanity wanted to show that power did not need cruelty. Jason's team entered a council supply station and found stockpiles of weapons, communication devices, and records of oppression. Claire quickly copied everything, while Maya coordinated the transfer of supplies to friendly worlds. "This will help them rebuild," Maya said. "It will also show them that humanity can be trusted." Meanwhile, Luke led a small squad to a council fleet command post. Using cloaking technology, they slipped past patrols and reached the main bridge. Luke signaled his team. "Now," he whispered. With precise timing, they disabled the bridge's controls, leaving the fleet in chaos, but without casualties. Council commanders scrambled, trying to restore order, but every attempt failed. Across the galaxy, humans launched fleets from hidden stations. Each move was calculated, swift, and synchronized. Worlds once under strict council control now followed human leadership. Holographic messages of peace and fairness spread quickly, showing that humans acted with integrity, not aggression. By midnight, the council realized their empire was collapsing. Fleets were isolated, worlds were defecting, and citizens demanded truth. Panic spread among council leaders. "What is happening?" one yelled. "How can this be possible?" Luke, watching the chaos unfold on the tactical display, spoke calmly. "This is what happens when you underestimate humans," he said. "This is what happens when you mock those who can unite against injustice." Maya smiled. "And it is only the beginning. Once the council falls, humanity will lead with fairness, not fear." Claire's hands flew over her datapad. "All major communication lines are in our control. The Council cannot send orders. Every fleet and planet is free to choose." Jason leaned back, finally letting a smile appear. "They thought one night would be quiet. They did not know we had been preparing for decades." Luke nodded. "Exactly. They mocked Earth, thinking we were small and insignificant. Tonight, we show the galaxy that humans are far more than anyone imagined. Tonight, we begin the rebuilding of a fair and just order." Hours passed as humanity continued its careful strike. Every council-held station, every fleet, every alliance was touched by the human plan. No one expected it, no one could stop it. Humans worked with allies, old and new, showing precision, patience, and intelligence. As the first light of dawn approached, Luke looked out at the galaxy. The council was no longer laughing. They were scrambling, isolated, and powerless. Human fleets moved steadily, securing worlds, protecting allies, and ensuring the transition would be peaceful. Maya rested her hands on the table. "It is incredible. In one night, everything changed." "The council never expected this," Claire smiled. "We used their arrogance against them. We revealed their secrets, gained allies, and showed true strength. Humanity did it without mass destruction. That is what they will remember. Jason's eyes were wide with awe. They mocked us. And now every alliance they controlled is gone. All because we never gave up. Luke placed his hand on the console. And it is not over. We must continue carefully, ensuring every world remains free and safe. But tonight, humanity won. Not just for Earth, but for every world seeking fairness. The fleets returned to hidden positions, ready to continue their work. Communication lines remained open for allies, and the Council's attempts to retaliate were already failing. Worlds that once feared them now looked to humans for leadership. Luke took a deep breath, thinking about the irony. The Council had mocked Earth, believing humans were weak and insignificant. They had laughed at the idea that one planet could challenge centuries of control. Yet humans had acted with unity, strategy, and intelligence. The mockery had been their greatest mistake. As dawn spread across the galaxy, humans in the fleet allowed themselves a moment of quiet satisfaction. They had struck without cruelty, won allies without threats, and shown the galaxy that their strength was more than physical. It was moral, intellectual, and strategic. Luke turned to his team. "We did it," he said simply. "Phase 1 is complete. The Council is blind, the alliances are gone, and humanity stands ready to lead." Maya nodded. "And Phase 2 will solidify our position, ensuring every world remains free and connected." Claire smiled faintly. "The galaxy will never underestimate humans again." Jason looked out the window, the first light of stars reflecting in his eyes. "We proved them wrong. All in a single night." Luke Carter finally allowed himself a small smile. "Yes, all in a single night." The council chamber was silent for the first time in centuries. Alien representatives who had once held the power of the galaxy were frozen, staring at screens that displayed the truth. Every secret, every lie, every act of corruption had been revealed by humanity. Panic spread quickly as leaders realized they were no longer in control. Luke Carter stood with Maya Rivers, Jason Hall, and Claire Ward just outside the chamber. They had arrived not as invaders, but as representatives of a new order. Humanity had not sought to destroy. They had sought to restore balance. Yet the council's arrogance had made the outcome inevitable. One of the council elders, a tall figure with dark green skin and eyes that glowed faintly, shouted, "How is this possible? How could humans accomplish all of this in a single night?" Luke stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. "You underestimated us. You mocked Earth, called our species weak, and believed your power would last forever. Yet humans work differently. We unite, we think, and we act with patience. Tonight, we reminded the galaxy of that truth." Maya added, "We did not come to destroy you. We came to show every world that fairness and trust are stronger than fear and lies. You had your chance to lead wisely. You failed." Claire handed a datapad to one of the council members. On it were documents, holograms, and evidence of decades of corruption. Every world that had been controlled or oppressed by the council now saw the truth. Citizens demanded change, fleets refused orders, and allies switched sides. The council's influence had evaporated almost instantly. Jason spoke quietly, his voice carrying both pride and seriousness. "We acted carefully. No unnecessary harm, no destruction of life. Yet we were strong enough to change the balance of power. That is what humans do. We do not just fight. We plan, we act, and we protect." The council tried one last desperate measure. They activated a fleet, hoping to regain control and intimidate the galaxy. But the fleet was isolated, its communication lines cut, its allies gone. Luke watched as the council's commands went unanswered. Ships that should have obeyed turned back or joined humanity. The final attempt failed completely. Maya stepped forward, addressing the council directly. "It is over. Your time as rulers of the galaxy has ended. Humanity and our allies now offer a new way, one built on respect, cooperation, and truth. You may step down peacefully or face isolation and continued exposure. The choice is yours. Several council members looked around nervously, realizing the power they once had was gone. Murmurs filled the chamber. A few representatives tried to argue, but their own citizens refused to listen. Their fleets refused to obey. Every system they controlled was either neutral or aligned with humanity. One council elder finally spoke, voice trembling. We underestimated you. We mocked you, thinking your world insignificant. How did you achieve all of this in one night? Luke looked calmly at him. We did not act alone. We united with those who desired fairness. We acted with precision, patience, and truth. Humanity does not forget injustice. You gave us a reason to rise, and we took that chance. You mocked us. That was your final mistake. Maya extended her hand toward the council. This is your chance to cooperate. Help us build a galaxy that is fair and just. No one world rules another. No species is forced into obedience. Together, we can create a lasting order. The council members hesitated. Many were frightened. Many were ashamed. And some were still proud. Slowly, the first few stepped forward, signaling their agreement to the new order. Others followed reluctantly. Within hours, the council as it had existed for millennia ceased to function. The old hierarchy was gone, replaced by a coalition of worlds united under principles of fairness. Claire watched the new communication networks form. Data flowed freely between planets. Trade routes reopened under new agreements. Aid and resources moved to worlds that had been oppressed. Every system showed the impact of humanity's actions. It was not only a victory for Earth, it was a victory for the entire galaxy. Jason stood near Luke, looking out at the stars. All this happened in a single night, he said. The council thought they were untouchable. They didn't realize humans do not need strength alone. We use intelligence, unity, and courage. And tonight, it worked. Luke nodded. We have shown the galaxy what humans can do. But this is only the beginning. We must lead carefully. We must protect freedom, not dominate. That is the true power of humanity. Maya approached, her expression calm and determined. The galaxy will remember this night. They will remember how humans acted with honor, strength, and wisdom. They will remember that mocking Earth was their greatest error. Outside the chamber, crowds of aliens celebrated. Fleet captains who had once obeyed the council now pledged loyalty to humanity's coalition. Messages of gratitude, relief, and hope streamed in from dozens of worlds. Luke watched it all, realizing the scale of what had been achieved. Claire leaned toward him. We did not just defeat the council. We gave the galaxy something new. Hope. And that is more important than power. Luke smiled faintly. Hope and unity are stronger than fear and oppression. Humans have proven that tonight. Others may follow that example. And that is how change spreads. In the council chamber, the remaining members met quietly, acknowledging their failure. The old systems were dismantled, their fleets reassigned, and their resources redistributed. Humanity and allies would oversee the transition, ensuring no species suffered under domination again. Maya turned to the team. Our work is not over. We must continue to protect these worlds, guide them, and help them rebuild. But tonight, we rest. Tonight, we celebrate the first step toward a new galaxy. Luke nodded. We acted with strategy, not revenge. We struck with precision, not chaos. That is why humanity has won the respect of the galaxy in a single night. Jason grinned. It feels incredible. To think, they laughed at us, thought we were weak, and now, look at the galaxy. Every system has changed. Every council fleet is powerless. All because we acted together, Claire added. They underestimated patience, intelligence, and cooperation. They mocked humans, thinking strength alone defines power. But we showed that wisdom, planning, and unity can achieve far more. As dawn spread across the galaxy, Luke stood at the observation deck of the flagship, looking at planets now free from Council oppression. Stars gleamed, and distant systems shimmered with life and potential. For centuries, humans had been underestimated. For centuries, Earth had been ignored. And now, humanity stood as a beacon of hope, not as conquerors, but as protectors and leaders. Maya came beside him. "Do you think they will ever underestimate humans again?" she asked softly. Luke smiled. "No, never again. But that is not our goal. Our goal is to guide, to protect, and to unite. Humans may be strong, but we are strongest when we act with honor." Claire joined them. "The galaxy will remember this night. Not for war, not for destruction, but for courage, unity, and truth. That is what humans bring." Jason, looking out the window, whispered. "The Council mocked Earth, thinking we were small. And in one night, we proved them wrong. They will never forget it." Luke nodded. "No, they won't. And neither will the galaxy. Humans are a force not to be mocked, but a force to be respected. That is our lesson, and our gift." The team stood together, watching as messages of hope and unity spread from one world to another. Planets that had lived in fear now looked to humanity for guidance. Fleets that had followed orders without question now acted with freedom and purpose. The galaxy, once divided and controlled, began to rebuild under the principles humans had shown: fairness, truth, and cooperation. Luke Carter turned from the view, looking at his team. "We have done something incredible," he said. "Tonight, we changed the galaxy. Not with weapons alone, not with fear, but with intelligence, planning, and courage. Humanity has risen, and we will continue to rise." Maya smiled. "The Council mocked Earth, thinking we were weak. That was their last mistake. We have shown the galaxy that humans are more than strength or technology. We are unity, strategy, and heart." Claire nodded. "And with that, we can ensure a better future. For Earth, for humanity, and for every world that chooses freedom." Jason whispered, almost to himself. "One night was enough. One night to show the galaxy who we really are. Humans are not to be mocked. We are to be respected." Luke looked out once more at the stars. The Council was gone. Their control was over. Humanity stood at the center of a new order, not ruling by fear, but leading with courage, wisdom, and honor. The galaxy would never be the same again, and as the first light of a new era spread across the cosmos, Luke Carter felt a quiet pride. They had taken on the arrogance of the Council, faced impossible odds, and won not through domination, but through unity, strategy, and respect. Humanity had risen. Earth had risen. And the galaxy would remember that night forever.